folks. Here we go. Another little video to add out there to the world of helpfulness, I guess. So it's been a minute, as they say. And looking over some old videos I've done, I've always had the answer. I've always had the idea and a sense of direction. So let's call this a little video to potentially help steer you in the direction you know you want to go. Because how do you know this? This could be a little how do you know, a how-to video. You have a constant thought. You are constantly debating to do something that you know has a benefit to you. And you block the will, and I'll implement other ideas into this that you can take on board at your own leisure, at your own will. You or shall you not put it into play is up to you. You may know what it is that it is. You may know what it is that you would like to do. But you may get a sense, I'm just not ready yet. Okay? Or you create a long list of all of these ideas, reasons, okay, for excuses, whatever, to not go the way that you really want to go. Okay, that what my dad called the songs of your heart. Follow the songs of your heart, son. When you learn to do that, you'll realize that life is not as dark and dreary. Okay, very, very true. There's an uncomfortable in that. And as I'm going through this later in life, I realize that it's not about whether you, I, me, or anyone is about being ready. It really is simply your willingness to lead yourself, to direct yourself in accordance with that song in your heart. And then just taking on the actions that are required and learning along the way and making the adjustments, okay? Understanding, accepting there's going to be variables, a bit like a bumpy road. You come around the corner, like you know the road goes this way. What will happen along this road, I don't exactly know. I'll deal with it as I'm driving along. Traveling has taught me a lot about that. It's taught me a lot, not necessarily about letting go. That's a deep dive on its own. There's good things and bad things about that, or just things that need to be understood more, perhaps, about this letting go business. But all in all, it's about accepting what it is that you're passing yourself through, what it is that you're leading yourself towards, and that it truly is a never-ending momentum that is life, until it is no more. When, how, why, it needn't occupy is really what it's about. Okay, the letting go, if I just sneak in a little idea for you, is prioritizing what it is that you allow, that I allow. I won't make this about a lecture, okay, but more just sharing my thoughts. So I'll throw in a you and an I here and there, okay? If you're alright with that, let's continue. What it is that I'm prioritizing, it's taking up space. If we look at an example of your room or a house or your shed or your van or your boat, whatever it is. Okay, you start with an empty space, it soon gets quickly occupied by items, by things that may or may not necessarily need to be there. Where is the benefit in that which is occupying the space? Does it have to be there? Is it truly necessary? Is it just really just a possession for that? It is just nothing more than being that, a possession of an item. And you go, I don't really need this here, I'm not really using it, it can go, I can give it away. Make space. It's the same with the mind, it's the same with the heart, it's the same with the spirit. Going through this buzzword journey, okay, self-discovery after the passing of my dad and a failed relationship. Well, and mainly because of that relationship failed because of my relationship with myself. When you get past blaming, oh, she did this and he did that, you must retract back. If you want to know how, you want an answer to your question, or how do I get over, right? Think of it of getting through instead of over, because to go over something, that means it always will exist. Even though you got over it, it's still there in the back of your mind, right? But to go through, to break through, to basically dismantle something and push through it, disintegrate it, you actually eliminate it. And you leave behind you a cleaner path. That's part of the letting go, is about prioritizing what is occupying yourself, okay? And so that's very important to say, what was it that I was doing that contributed to a situation occurring? Okay, maybe you lost a job, or a job's failing, or you're not picking up work. That could be because of your reluctance to go and get another job, or to just go, you know what, I haven't had any real solid work for the last 3 months, but I'm paying my rent, I've got food in my fridge. You could say I'm surviving, I'm making ends meet. Why don't I just jump in and have a go at running my own business? Become my own boss, right? Become my own king. Become the king of my family, the king of my domain. All of these type of things. And then back into the relationship. If the relationship's deteriorating, it might be, well, I'm not looking after me. I'm not looking after myself. How can I expect someone to keep investing in me, right, if I'm not investing in me? It just doesn't make sense. Think of it like that, as an investment. If I was to say to you, hey, give me $10,000, I have an investment that will generate some income, but over a period of time will actually depreciate and you'll lose money, you would say, go get nicked. That doesn't make sense. Absolutely, it doesn't make sense. Yet that is what happens. That is what has happened even with myself. Does that make sense to you all? So distance yourself from the blame. If there is to be a blame, come back to yourself first, and not necessarily get upset and blame yourself. Just go, hey, there was signs, right? There was clear communications that things were deteriorating, or things are deteriorating, and I need to make a shift. I need to alter course, and it's going to be uncomfortable. That's the one thing I realized is if there's a post on my Facebook when I realized that I was so reluctant to deal with the suffering that would lead me into having a better reality. Right? And remember, folks, that your definition of living in a better reality is totally fine. What it means to you, okay? It doesn't need to represent the mainstream. It doesn't need to. it's about if we go back to the song in your heart and think of it as music, right? What is it that you do, right? And I'm saying you because, or shall I say, this is what I've learnt. And then maybe you will take this on instead of me saying you're like, oh, who are you to tell me, right? That's a very common thing. Because you don't know me, so fair enough. You just come across this video, you think, oh, well, let's see what this fella with the beard and shaggy hair has to say. The music in your heart, that's that sense of, it's a sense of. Like, what is it? What's the music in your heart that you're talking about? It's that sense of. Okay, what's that mean? Now you're speaking cryptic again. It's that sense of, it's that constant entertaining thought of you want to go somewhere. It's that calling. It's that feeling. It's a sense of, I don't want to do this job anymore. Or I don't want to be in this relationship. Or I just want time for me. You know what I mean? And I was scared. I will tell you this straight up. I was scared to be alone. But guess what happened anyway? I ended up being alone. That's the part of being reluctant with things. I ended up suffering because I avoided the suffering of leading myself towards and into better situations. Like I said, driving down the road, there's a gap in between. There's there was where I was. This is my little thumb will be my reality of where I was. Okay. There's the song in the heart. It's like a little whisper. And when you sit in that song and you tune in, you get a sense of, yeah, and your smile comes on. You smile through your whole body, right? You know what I'm talking about, because I get a sense right now that anyone listening to this, you don't need to be watching. Listening is perhaps a good idea. You're smiling. Your whole being, right, is smiling. Even your organs are smiling. There's even a smile in your breathing right now. You're out of this fight or flight scenario, which a lot of us are in and have been in. I have been in that. That's where your stress comes from. Fight or flight. You're either sad, you're scared, or you're angry all the time. And I was wondering, why am I always fatigued? Food comes into play. But just adding on some little bits is, I eat maybe once a day, sometimes every 2 days. I have a big feed, and then I just have coffee, and I don't eat the greatest, I will confess. But I feel pretty good. And it definitely has a lot to do with living your life through the songs of your heart. Money does come into play. It's definitely helpful. But just sit with yourself and go, what is it that I truly need? And this wanting, is that coming from me? Or is that coming from me wanting to be accepted through the validation of the external? Basically, what I'm referring to is society or parents or colleagues, so on and so forth. And if you are with someone right now, just sit down and go, look, we've been together. You know, I can be a bit blank in the mind sometimes, but I really am curious because I would like to resurrect myself in some regards, and in doing so, resurrect our relationship, resurrect my family, and get things vibing, get things buzzing. So what was it about me that appealed to you? And be honest, and add in, what is it about me right now you think, oh geez, I wish, like you might say, oh, I wish you were like that. That's what appealed to me. Have these type of conversations if you're in a relationship. I was reluctant to do that type of stuff. You can ask the question too much, which then would indicate you're insecure in yourself. The clue at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, any of you who have decided to continue tuning in, thank you very much, is act on your will. Act on the will. You needn't be ready. The universe, you'll be given things that already indicate that you are ready. It's just up to you to be willing to act on, to take yourself into that realm where the music in your heart will grow louder. It literally is that way. There's so many variations and descriptions of all of this, but I feel that has to be probably one of the most easiest that you could digest and consume as being believable and valid. That it is somewhat of a purpose to do things that increase the joy in your life, that increase the volume of the music that your spirit already plays. In us already exists a tune, a melody. And that is why I like trees and the ocean and wood. I've always had this affinity for wood. And it might have been because I grew up with my granddad, who was an antique furniture restorer. I don't quite know. But I like things like crystals. These are the bird feathers that I've collected. I got this little feather dream catcher with the moon from my mum. Things like this, a whalebone. I believe that this is from the tailbone of a whale. Shells. All of that. All of those type of things are an indication of the music that's within you. And some of us, we do have similar music, and some others. But what I did realize, something really important, was I think what I've been attempting to do and failing, strongly failing, is to live a life playing music that's not congruent with the music that's in me, if that makes sense. Have you ever tried playing rock and roll and classic together? It just won't work. It's not synergistic. So there you go. I was living an unsynergistic life that was not congruent with the music that already exists within me. I was trying to beat my drum to a different beat, if that makes sense. Through society, like, how will I be validated because I'm living in a certain way? So I won't go too deep into that, because we can go really deep about structured that way to create separation, to pretty much numb you, blind you, and create a deafness to that which already exists within us. That's the nature within us. And out there in nature is a synergistic vibration and a harmony. Okay, there's that. So how do you do that? How do I get to that? I've had to take myself out into this world. It was unfortunate that it took my dad's passing, right? And a relationship breaking down and losing, what do you call it, the title, the privilege to be a dad, to be a father, okay? to see my son grow up, to have an influence in his reality. Okay, it took that, right, a real big punch in the spirit to break the chain, to break the tether, and somewhat go adrift. But in the going adrift and all this wandering that I've done over the last 4 months of just doing a lot of driving, and realizing that, okay, it took that to detach and go, well, there's nothing here for me. I've got to go and find where it is that I belong. I've had this sense of where is it I belong? And I like the ocean. I like the mountains. And it's like, where is that? And something just, you got to go to Tasmania, mate. You got to go to Tasmania. And this could be the closest also to the type of landscape of where my ancestral blood comes from. So like I said, there's going to be a gap. Either that gap will always exist. There'll be that gap in, it's just not the world that I want. And you always want, instead of going, well, the question, how do I get it? The answer will automatically be there. You list that out, and I've started to list it out because I've done a lot of procrastination, by the way. I could give you a certificate in the mastery of procrastination, but you don't want it. You don't want it. You want the certificate in mastering the art of acting upon one's will. Look for the cues. This video, you tuning into this video, having a listen, even to a snippet of it, is an indication. Your YouTube feed, the things that you've been searching in YouTube to find a way to get yourself out of the rut, okay? Go through your social media is one of the things, and just get rid of that which does not serve you. I'll have to add this in because this could be a diffuser to you also taking yourself into another reality. Is be wary of, you got to have a sense of humor. Yes, but be careful what comes under the radar as humor, or just having a joke, just having a fun, right? Because that's a spell. And that can implant unnecessary ideas and frequencies into you. So be mindful of that. And if you do catching yourself laughing at certain things, go, well, that was a bit silly. There's a difference between fun and silly. So get a filter. Start sifting, sieving. That's what I've done too. It takes a bit. Right. Get the lumps out of the flour. Shake. Yeah. And then sift, and eventually you'll get the fine points, and this music, you'll tune into this music. Absolutely. But just stay tuned. You're always welcome to come on back and to see what it is that I'm doing that I've neglected to do such a long time ago. And the fact that you're a lot younger and tuning in this already says that you're on your way, that you've already started to hear that wonderful music that exists inside you. So find ways to express that, to make that music louder. And not everyone is going to like the melody that exists within you, because they have yet to understand the melody that exists within them. Okay? Be good, be great, be brilliant. Be the best you can with what you have and with where you are. And lead yourself into a better world that plays the music that belongs to you.